Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the world's most powerful currency, the one used in trade, in savings, in global markets, was hours away from collapse. Banks quietly froze, foreign governments made emergency calls. And inside the US Treasury, officials stared at screens showing a scenario that should have been impossible. The $dollar, the backbone of the global economy, was breaking. Most people never heard about this day. It was buried, minimized, wrapped in technical language. But if events had gone slightly differently, the world today would look nothing like the one you know. This is the story of the day the US dollar almost died in, why the same forces that pushed it to the edge are rising again. To understand the crisis, you have to step back into the early 1970s. The United States was a financial giant, but underneath the surface, pressure was building: huge spending on war, huge spending at home, and a gold reserve that couldn't support the world's growing demand for dollars. Other countries saw the weakness first. France demanded gold instead of paper. Britain followed. Dollars were leaving the US faster than gold could replace them. Imagine a bank where everyone suddenly asks for their deposits back. That's what the global financial system looked like. A silent bank run on the world's reserve currency. Nixon went on television and made a famous announcement: the US would temporarily close the gold window. But the word temporarily turned into forever. The dollar was now backed by faith alone. Here's where the paradox begins. The world still needed dollars. Trade relied on dollars. Oil was priced in dollars. So the system kept going, but now it floated on a foundation that wasn't real. A currency no longer connected to anything physical. A promise with no collateral. Imagine a ship cut from its anchor, still sailing, but drifting with every wave. To understand how dangerous this became, think of the dollar system as a massive pyramid. At the top is the US government, below it, global banks. Below them, foreign governments, at the bottom, everyone else. Each layer depends on the one above it. If trust breaks at the top, everything below begins to shake. In the 1970s, inflation roared. Oil prices multiplied. Foreign nations panicked. The dollar was dropping so quickly that central banks around the world held emergency meetings to decide whether they should abandon it completely. The turning point came in a single terrifying week. Major nations privately warned the US that unless something changed, immediately they would dump their dollars. If they did, the value of the currency would collapse. America would face hyperinflation. Global trade would freeze. The entire world economy would fragment overnight. The dollar came within inches of losing its role as the world's reserve currency. So the US responded with extreme force. Interest rates skyrocketed. Debt became unbearably expensive. Unemployment soared. The cure was brutal, but it worked. The dollar survived barely. The consequences still echo today. Countries that borrowed in dollars became trapped. Developing nations found themselves at the mercy of a currency they couldn't control. Oil exporters gained enormous power. Global inequality deepened. And the US discovered something intoxicating. If the world needed the dollar, then the US could print as much as it wanted. This was the moment the modern financial system was born, a system where the world trades, saves, invests, and borrows in a currency controlled by one nation. But here's the unsettling truth. The same pressures that nearly killed the dollar then exist again now. Massive government debt, rising interest payments, foreign nations diversifying away from the dollar, countries forming new alliances, and the world quietly searching for alternatives. But it rhymes with alarming clarity. The first crisis pushed the dollar to the edge. The next one, if it comes, may push it past. Because the dollar survived the 1970s by the slimmest margin imaginable. It survived because nations still trusted the US to protect it.